I went through to the living room and I says, "What's this all about?" She went, "This is what I've got to do all the time, so just get on with it." Yeah, you know where his passport is and his phone number, and you know the address. I was like, for fuck's sake.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone and welcome to the next episode of the Are You Ready podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek and with me is my co-host Dave. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm very well, Derek. How's yourself?
It was a bit of a pregnant pause there, Dave. What was all that about?
A pregnant pause?
A pregnant pause, yeah?
No.
The size of my belly then these days, then it might be.
Well, yeah, me too, aye. But no, everything's great. Just getting ready for another wee trip, transatlantic, Derek, for a few days as me and my son are off to Pittsburgh to watch a game NFL next Sunday. So really looking forward to that.
Aye, well done, Dave.
I don't know what you going like that for. It's not as if I go away on holiday a lot or anything like that.
Yes, that's a well-trodden path, Dave.
Yeah.
We're not going down that way again.
No, definitely not.
No. So we've got 3 games to cover this episode. It'll be probably quite a quick one because I never seen one of the games. We were both at the same game together and we've not got any notes for it, and we've just got a really poor game to the Hearts game that we to sum up yesterday. Yeah. So it'll be probably quite a quick one, which will be make a change. So without further ado, we will go down the tunnel and onto the park. The first game we've got to cover was on Sunday the 3rd of November. It was a 2-1 win against Motherwell at Hampden in the League Cup semi-final, where Dave and I both enjoyed the fruits of a hospitality event, didn't we, Dave?
We did. It was an excellent day. We had excellent seats and, everything was great, apart from the performance. That was the only thing. The only thing that let the day down was it was a pretty dull performance, but as you're going to briefly get into, at least it was a winning performance.
Yes, so really we never taken any notes, we never done a post-match for obvious reasons there, but there really wasn't a lot to write home about the game anyway. In the first half we were shocking. That's as bad as I've seen us. There was just no inventiveness at all. I think we started off the first 5 minutes fairly at pace and then we just completely collapsed from there. I wouldn't say Motherwell were great either, to be honest, but they did get the goal on the 25th minute and none other than Andy Halliday scoring. It was the kind of same as what we've seen all before. Tavernier getting beat down the left side. Cross in, Butland could have done a lot better. Jeffday was in no man's land, never bothered going for the ball, and Halliday with a fantastic burst of pace to get that ball at the back post and tap it into the back of the net. Halliday never celebrated either. He just kind of raised his hand slightly, acknowledged the fans, whether he was saying sorry or not, because it was in the Rangers end he scored, I don't know. But the fallout from that, Dave, he must be the first player never to celebrate a goal against a former team at all. But fair play to him. I'm not a fan of when players do that, to be honest, because you're working for another club now. Yes, your boyhood club was Rangers. You played for them for a number of years. We know your affiliations. If you didn't want to score, you wouldn't have made that burst of pace. And, fair play to him. He done that. Played well for Motherwell that game. I just think the fallout was ridiculous, as per usual, just because it's all about Rangers as usual.
As to be expected, Derek. No, I'm the same as you. If he had have celebrated, it wouldn't have bothered me at all, because we all know that he's Rangers daft, but he's proven the fact that he played well against us, scored the goal. As you say, he took his goal really well, really poor defensive play by us, but he was doing something in that game that none of our players were prepared to do, and that was bust a gut to get into the back post if there was a cross coming over. And, when they scored that, I think it was probably the only time that they got a break into our half, and we just knew that something was going to happen. As soon as the Motherwell attacker got the ball on the left-hand side, I just knew if he puts a ball into that, something's going to happen. And there he was behind all our defence, and he still managed to be the first one to get on the end of it at the end. So something that we lack majorly. I actually don't think we've had a player that busts a gut for midfield to get into the box since Scott Arfield left, to be perfectly honest. And that was what he done, and it punished us, Derek, really poor defensive play.
Yeah, and it's something I picked up on just after the goal. Butland was going absolutely apeshit at Tavernier as well. Like, honest to God, mental at him. That's the most bollocking I've seen a player. You would have thought that Tavernier was going to do that to other players, but he's kind of not got a leg to stand on these days because he's the one making all the mistakes. And he was a big part to play in this goal. Butland never covered himself in glory as well. Could have done a wee bit better. But Jeffrey was really poor. And that was unusual for Jeffrey as well, just getting completely outfoxed that by a much older player as well. But absolutely, Butland, fair play to him. And he was actually showing what a captain should be doing and going absolutely mental. Good to see that one there, but poor on Tavernier's point. So we went into half-time 1-0 down. We enjoyed some sandwiches and teas and coffees. It wasn't prawn sandwiches before anyone gets that one there. But we were all thinking the same thing. Clement's got 45 minutes to save his job.
Yeah, yep. And that was the talk. Everyone was saying, I think, at the same time when we were there, Derek, but it was just such a poor performance in the first half. And after recent results, this was absolutely massive for him to get some sort of reaction in the second half.
Yeah, and certainly we did come out the traps flying in the second half. We upped the tempo, we were straight in Motherwell's face, and we got the goal with Dessers scoring on the 49th minute. Dave, I can't really remember much of it because I was actually looking at my phone at that point.
It was it kind of. I'm trying to remember it myself, Derek, but I'm sure it was a cut back, and it was he managed to force the ball in. But I mean, Derek, he had been absolutely anonymous up to that point. He had shown nothing whatsoever. I mean, both you and I were watching him in the first half. He wasn't prepared to run for anything. The ball, he demands the ball. He'd be played directly to him. He wasn't doing any of that, but he was in the right place at the right time. Thankfully, there he got the equaliser for us, but up until that point, completely anonymous.
We were playing better in the second half, but we were still creating very, very little. Powder puff up front, as we've seen before. Motherwell, they were poor as well again, but we were certainly getting a lot more of the possession than them. I did actually say to you, Dave, I'm fairly warm here. The seats are like 12 inches padded leather seats. I was quite comfy there. I mean, I wouldn't be too bothered if it went to extra time, and I wouldn't be too bothered. Up steps Barami on the 81st minute and scores a pretty good goal, if I can remember right. It was a great shimmy in from the left-hand side, hits a shot and curls into the bottom right corner, if I can remember correctly.
Great timing as well. We had been the better team in the second half. There was no doubt about it. You could also see that Motherwell were tiring. They were trying to get bodies back constantly to try to get something out of it. And thankfully, we managed, because I still felt that we were going to win, but I certainly didn't want it to go to extra time because anything could happen. Motherwell could have held it for a draw, and it could have went to penalties and stuff. So it was a great time for him to score, and a huge sigh of relief from all of us, and especially the manager.
I mean, does it paper over the cracks? I don't know, because the cracks were still all there to see. It's one of these games where it's a cup game, it's a semi-final. We're not playing particularly well. Win by any means necessary. And I think in previous cup games, that was all we're looking for, win by any means necessary in a cup game. And that game falls under that category, but it certainly wasn't pretty. By the look of the stats, we had 23 shots, 10 of them were on target, as opposed to 7 and 4 for Motherwell. We had 68% of the possession, so certainly we were the better of the sides, but it still wasn't great though, was it? No,
it was really poor, and as I say, especially the first half, we offered absolutely nothing. I was sitting watching the midfield in a low. Connor Barron trying to win everything that he could, trying to get on the ball to get the team forward. I was getting really frustrated at the likes of Raskin, because it just looked as if he wasn't trying to get the ball forward at all. It was constant sideways passing, but the whole team was like that. It wasn't just him. So we'd done just enough to win, Derek, but it wasn't a performance that we're going to remember, and that's kind of how we've been domestically, hasn't it? It's been, if we've managed to get the win, like we'll get into later with the game against Hearts, it's, we're just winning and no more, and it just puts pressure, more and more pressure on us. But it's not a performance that we're going to remember, put it that way.
No. So it played out exactly how I thought it was going to be. We would struggle, but we would get there in the end. The one thing to come out the game, Dave, was the fact that Lawrence had to go off injured, and it turns out that he's going to be out for around 6 weeks. Maybe a good thing in the long term, because it allows maybe someone a wee bit more dynamic to be in his position. We've struggled. I mean, yes, he has been scoring goals, which you can't fault, but then if he's not scoring, he's doing nothing else, and that's what we've highlighted in previous podcasts. So maybe an idea to bring somebody more creative in that position there, but that really never happened in the next couple of games, I don't think, did it?
No, it certainly didn't.
No. And it lined us up for the final, which is going to be played against Celtic after they thumped Aberdeen 6-0 in the day before. So that final is going to be played on the 15th of December at Hampden at a weird time of 3:30. I don't know what the reasons for the 3:30 kickoff is, Dave, but we'll deal with it anyway. I'm fearing the worst, Dave, but it's...
Vast majority of us are fearing the worst as well. But we are there. The manager needs to find something. He needs to change something. We can't go into the cup final the way that they are on form. We need to change things up a bit. There needs to be something there that he can do to change the team. But as we've seen before, he doesn't seem willing to really change things, does he?
No. This is the big problem with us, is he has one system. He doesn't change it before the game. He doesn't change it during the game either. So it begs the question, what opposition research is he doing? Is he just going to set up the same way for every single team and expect the other teams just to not bother with that? And sometimes you need to change things for different games. Motherwell are playing there a 5 in the middle. Not every team are going to play a 5 in the middle that way. They're playing 2 up front. We've got 1 up front. You've seen when he first came into the squad, you know that he'd done the promo shots of him on the plane with his number 2 with a laptop out, and they were checking all the results, and he seemed quite knowledgeable about results in other teams and how they like to play. Is he even doing that now? That's the concern for me. But we'll get into that later, because it lines us up for the next game, Thursday the 7th of November. It was a 1-1 draw away against Olympiacos in the Europa League Game 4. I never seen the game, Dave, because I was away at a gig. It was booked long before the fixture got announced, and it was one not to miss. So, yes, Dave, you watched the game, and I think everybody would have bit your hand off for a draw at the start of the game. And by the way, it sounded we more than deserved it.
We did, and like I said, when I did the post-match, I was actually quite gutted that we never came away with a victory, because we actually played very well in a place that nobody expected us to get anything from, but one of the better performances of the season. So I'll get into it. As we knew, that the big talking point as soon as the team lines came out was that James Tavernier had dropped to the bench and he was replaced by Dujon Sterling. And obviously, you mentioned that just a few minutes ago, Tom Lawrence getting injured, so Diomande came in to replace him, which is possibly Diomande's best position. But still, I don't know how things will change when we eventually get one of our left wingers back and maybe move Barami in there. I'm not sure. So, but the team that he went with anyway was Butland, Sterling, Suter, Proper, Jeffrey, Barron, Raskin, Cherney, Diomande, Barami and Dessers. The bench was Kelly, Tavernier, Ridvan. Back in the squad, Dowell, Casawin-Yero, Balogun, Igman, McCausland, Fraser, McKinnon, Rice and Lovely. So Butland leading the team out. He was the captain for the night in the early stages. The first sort of 5 minutes, Rangers really slacking in midfield, really short passes getting picked off, not enough weight on the ball. Thankfully, though, it never really put the defence under any pressure, and I was getting a wee bit worried at that stage, but thankfully they managed to get things under control. The 7th minute, we had a chance. Sterling from right back, he puts a long ball up to Dessers through the middle, and we've seen this a lot with their style of play. They are trying to find Dessers with the long ball. The ball takes a bounce. Dessers actually gets it in control. He's about to go into the box. A last-ditch tackle by the defender puts it out for the corner. Didn't come to anything. A minute later, though, with a long-range shot by Diomande at the edge of the box, but unfortunately it was straight at the goalkeeper. And then a great break on the 10th minute, a through ball to Dessers. He's in a foot race with the defender. He manages, he's sort of shoulder to shoulder with the defender. He gets a touch in the ball to try and get past him. his touch is too heavy. Goalkeeper managed to slide out and he saves it. So a wee bit more composure there by Dessers, but certainly getting on the ball early on and trying to find him. But then another great move just a minute later, Barami, he plays Dessers clear on the left-hand side, just past the halfway line. Dessers runs, gets to the edge of the box. The goalkeeper comes running out. He'd lost a defender. He was at an angle, Derek. He was quite far out. I still think he could have done better. I'm quite surprised that he didn't try and round the goalkeeper like he usually does. But he hits his shot. The goalkeeper manages to get his leg at it, and he clears. So it's still 0-0. They did think it was possibly offside as well. If he was maybe just slightly off. I'm going through this, Derek. I don't know if you've seen any of the chances at all that I am describing, but that certainly was a big chance there for Dessers.
I've seen his goal, but I've never seen any of the other chances, no.
17th minute, though, an absolute glorious chance again for Cyril Dessers, and how it remained 0-0 after this, I don't know. But it was Czerny. He was starting to get more and more of the ball on the right-hand side. Great play, gets to the byline, cuts the ball back into the 6-yard box. There's Dessers with just the goalkeeper. He was at a slight angle. He hits it first time, but fires it straight at the goalkeeper, and it's out. It was a glorious chance. I'm tearing my hair out as I do with Cyril Dessers. He really, really has to score things like that. And the big moments, clear-cut chances, he really needs to score. Really, really disappointed there. 28th minute, a good move by Czerny down the right, a low ball into the edge of the box. There's Diomande. He tries to hit it first time, but it's a weak effort. He hits it wide. And again, as I say, it's all Rangers' chances here that I've got, Derek. I'm not missing out any chances that Olympiacos had. This is how well that Rangers were playing and attacking, because there was another good move in the 30th minute. Raskin with a great ball to Czerny in the right wing. He gets into the edge of the box, cuts inside, hits a low rasping shot at the near post. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper was standing in the right position, and he managed to clear. Olympiacos there came into it slightly at the end of the half. They break down the left. The left winger was into the box. Great defending by Rangers. He actually shoots wide, but that all came from Barami giving the ball away cheap in his own half. Again, we're talking about the sort of slack passing. He certainly did there, but good defending by Rangers, and we looked solid. And Olympiacos had really not caused us any major issues in the first half at all. So they got to half-time, 0-0, feeling really confident and really positive. Dessers really should have had us 1-0 up on the 17th minute. But Czerny playing well on the right-hand side. It's just that sort of final ball has been the problem with us all season. But anyway, no changes at half-time by the manager, to be expected because they were playing well. And I'd like to say at this stage as well, I thought Dujon Sterling at right back was excellent, because throughout the pre-match show it was all about the left winger for Olympiacos and how it was absolutely sensational. He had done nothing to us whatsoever apart from sort of one half chance that he got shepherded off the ball, did nothing with it. So Dujon Sterling having a great game, but as I say, into the second half, 49th minute, half chance. Rangers win the ball in midfield really well. Barami, he gets to the edge of the box. He tries to play in Dessers at the back post, who was running. He had better options on the right-hand side. He had Sterling, I think it was, running to the right-hand side. I'm completely unmarked. Chose the wrong World Cup ball, as I said before, is what he tried to do, and it was clear. So that was another great chance. But I mentioned him there a minute ago, Dujon Sterling, who was having a great game. He came off on the 52nd minute, just into the second half. The manager was speaking to him. He didn't look injured, maybe a nickel. I don't know. Everybody keeps going in the way that Philip Clement talks about sports science and minutes on the park and stuff. But for a player that was playing so well, I'm really shocked that he came off at that stage. But it wasn't James Tavernier that came on at right back, as we all thought it was. It was Casawaniro that came on. So another big statement there, I think. But like I said, missed chances for Rangers. And I thought if we're playing a top team, they're only going to take one chance to score. And that's exactly what happened in the 56 minutes when Olympiacos scored. And it was a simple dinked ball into the box to their striker. He headed it back across the face of the goal. And the big striker that plays for Olympiacos, I can't remember his name, but it was the man who played so well in the Conference Cup final last season when they won it. Poor marking by John Souttar, I've got to say, who also had an excellent game all night, but he let the man drift back off him to the penalty spot, and he had an absolutely sensational volley, almost sort of overhead kick in midair, right into the top corner. Nothing that Butland could have done with the goal, but I still think if Souttar had stuck to him, he wouldn't have been able to get a swing at the ball, he wouldn't have scored. So, sensational goal, Derek, but I'm putting a lot of that down to poor marking. I don't know about you.
I've never seen the goal back, to be honest, Dave, so I've no idea, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
To be fair to Rangers, it didn't dampen their spirits because they knew they had been creating chances. 56 minutes, Czerny plays Casawan-Nero into the right. He hits a sort of cross-come shot, which just sort of shaves the post away out. And then on the 63rd minute, we got our just desserts because we managed to get the goal. And it was great play, first of all, by Connor Barron, who was having a great game again in midfield. The amount of balls that he picked off were incredible. He wins the ball in midfield. The Olympiacos player gets it back, tries to pass, but because of the way that Barron was there, the ball gets picked off by Czerny, and he sees Dessers going into the box. He plays a great first-time ball to Dessers, who's got the defender in front of him, and he does the trademark Dessers cut back, where I said, oh my God, Cyril, what are you doing? But the defender fell for it. For a change, he gets into the box, goalkeeper comes out and he hits a tremendous dinked left-footed shot over the goalkeeper and into the bottom corner. Sensational goal, you've got to say. Brilliant play by Dessers. I think every defender in Scotland would have known what he was going to do. So it might not have happened if he was playing in Scotland, but certainly in Europe, it was a sensational goal and nothing more than we deserve, Derek. It was great, fantastic stuff.
I think I got it summed up when I was waiting to go into the venue. My mates were criticising Dessers for doing, typical Dessers. And then the next comment was, and then he can go and score something like that. And I knew it was going to be something special. And it was a great goal. The way he taken it on, the way he rounded the player, and a great execution as well. And that is what's so frustrating about Dessers. He can fluff up the easy chances and he can score the really difficult ones, which what that was. And he's just the most frustrating player ever to watch. And we'll get into some comments by him later on. But yeah, really annoying, but a great goal.
It was, and you're talking about the good and bad. He had that terrible miss in the first half. Just about almost 10 minutes later, he gets the ball in the right wing. He runs to the edge of the box. He's got Barami to the left. He's got Czerny to the right with nobody on them, but he tries a shot for the edge of the box. It was really weak. It was past the post. It was pretty dreadful, and that was another great chance. 2 minutes later, great play by Barami in the left wing. How he managed to do this? Really close control, right on the edge of the park. Manages to flick the ball over the defender and bursts right down the full length of the opposition half. Runs into the edge of the box. He's not got any options, but he goes for the shot. But it's unfortunately it's straight at the goalkeeper. Hit it with some pace as well, but the goalkeeper managed to get that right. 80th minute, Barron, another great tackling, plays a fantastic through ball to Dessers, running through. He tries to take another touch again instead of hitting it first time. So there you go. Both ways. Defender gets back, makes a tackle. Really good move again by Rangers. And then it was just a raft of subs after that. Nothing much happening whatsoever. And the game finished at 1-1. So a really good performance, Derek. We really, I think, deserved a lot more. Like I said there, I don't think I'd really missed any major chances that Olympiacos had in the game, apart from scoring that one goal. But Rangers, they definitely deserve something out of it. And like you said at the start, if anybody had said to us the way we were playing, you're going to go to Olympiacos away and get a 1-1 draw, we would have bitten their hand off for it. So delighted with the result. I was really encouraged by the performance. I've not said that a lot this season, and I was hoping that this was going to spur us on for better performances after that. But regardless, it was an excellent result.
Yes, I mean, you look at, we're at the halfway stage of the group part of the Europa League just now. We're sitting in 10th on 7 points, obviously 2 wins, a loss and a draw. So we're well within the mix. You're kind of reckoning about 9 points to make us get to the playoffs at least. But obviously with the kind of relegation zone, if you were sitting at 4 points, we're still not cleared yet. So a lot of football to be played. Arguably the toughest games still to come, Man United and Tottenham. Union Saint-Gilloise as well as Nice as well, who are both sitting on 2 points just now. So yeah, you would expect at least 6 points from at least the next 4 games. That should see us into the playoffs, at least, if not actually in the top part of the league. So we'll see how that turns out there. Just the comments a bit from Dessers that I mentioned after the game. He was talking to Clyde, I think it was, and he did mention the fact that, you know, every striker at every level will miss chances. And, you know, he's absolutely correct in that. But then he went on to say, if I scored 3 chances a game, I probably wouldn't be at Rangers. Now, he's 100% correct in that one there. If he's banging away goal after goal every other chance, he wouldn't be at us just now. But that, I've never heard a player say that. Fans are allowed to say that out loud, absolutely. You know, we agree with that. However, I've never heard a player say that, and I don't know if that leads into the mentality of him right there, because that's something that he shouldn't be coming away with in public, Dave, is it?
I thought it was really poor, to be perfectly honest with you. I know the guy is under pressure. I know that the fans get on his back and stuff like that, but he's not the first and he's not the last that's going to happen to. I've never heard a player come away with anything like that before. And I thought it was a very poor choice of words. He might have known that he would get some flack for saying it, and for somebody that gets as much flack as what he does, I certainly wouldn't want to be adding to that. So, no, we all know that that's true, but for a player to actually come out and say that, I think it's pretty disrespectful to the club for one, and he's bound to know that he's going to get some flack for the fans for saying something like that.
I mean, it leads into the question that, do these players understand the club they're playing for? Because I don't think some of them do. And I think a comment like that, it's almost saying, I'm too good for yous, or I would be too good for yous. Well, you're correct, but you shouldn't be saying that as a player. Then you look at Leon Balogun last night coming away with a great comment saying that, look, the pressure's always at Rangers. The fans are not going to change. We need to give the fans something to actually cheer about. And Balogun's been here obviously longer. That's about 5 years, I think, he's been with us. So he knows the ups and downs. He knows what it takes to be a Rangers player. And he is one of the exceptions because he's actually playing very well when he's playing. We can't rely on him, obviously, because of his age and all that. But he knows what it's about, and is it just not coincidence that we are getting performances more often than not from him when he knows what it's about? Whereas you can't say the same for Dessers. Yes, he's scoring goals, but the amount of chances he's missing is ridiculous. Even taking into account the fact that, yes, you will miss a great deal of chances, you should be scoring more than you do. And I think it was CJ Novo put a great meme up on the other day, and it was, if you know, you know, and it was a picture of Fulton Reed from the Mighty Ducks, and if you know his quote, it was something like he scores 1 in 10, and he had a great shot on him and he scores only 1 in 10, and that's what it's like with Dessers just now. He has to have about 10 chances to score 1 goal, and he can fluff the lines for the easy stuff and then score the brilliant goal. It's just so frustrating, but it's a bit of a mentality issue, I think, with a lot of the players just now.
Yeah, you've hit the nail right in the head with them. Certain players, and possibly players that have been there a lot longer, know what it's like and know what's to be expected. And I think maybe Dessers, I'm trying to think of the clubs that he's played for before in Europe, but I don't think he's played for any clubs that are expected to go out and win every single match like what it is at Rangers. So maybe it is just his attitude of, right, well, there, I've scored 20-odd goals a season for you, that's it. But everything else is forgotten about. And I think if the fans, and it's certainly myself, want to see Dessers busting a gut, you know, chasing lost causes, you know, doing everything he could to get on the end of a ball that's coming in. But we just don't see it, Derek. We don't see it at all. He's very much you need to play the ball straight to me and I'll try and do something. We never see him bursting to get into space for the ball to be played through to him like you would expect a striker to do. And is it arrogance? Is it lack of ability? I don't think it's lack of ability. So it's got to be a mindset thing with him. And if he's not got it at the age of 31 or whatever it is now, then I don't think he's ever going to have that attitude, do you?
No. So it's certainly a ponderable for Clement and his team for the January window anyway, because I think a striker is a non-negotiable now. We've needed one for a good few years, so we need to get one in. Anyway, into the next game, which was Sunday the 10th of November. It was a 1-0 win at home against Hearts in the Premiership. It was a struggle to watch, Dave. It really was.
It was turgid.
Yep. But we lined up Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Balogun, Jeffrey, Raskin, Barron, Diamande, Cherny, Barami and Dessers. On the subs bench we had Kelly, Proper, Dowell, Sterling, Casawaniro, Igman, Hadji, McCausland and Danilo. So the big talking point again was Tavernier, for the fact that he was coming into the squad just now, and for him being dropped for a massive important European game, and as you're meant to be your talisman and your captain, and then to bring him straight back in the next game, Dave, strange choices again.
Really strange, considering, as you say, how well the other two played at right back. You don't do that in football. You award a player that's playing well with the starting place. And if Sterling was fit, he should have been playing because he was outstanding in that last game. And then again, if he wasn't, Casawaniro was outstanding when he came on as well, playing at right back. So you don't award them by dropping them to the bench in the next game if they play well. You've got to go with the players that are playing well, and we needed a spark. And certainly defensively against Olympiacos, I thought we were excellent. So why feel the need to change it? It's just I can't guess them anymore. It's just bizarre.
So the first half, we started off brightly with a lot of pace, pressing, chasing every ball. We got the goal, played the same for another few minutes, and then after about 10 minutes, completely dropped the pace. That allowed Hearts to have more time in the ball. They started to get the better of midfield for about 10-15 minutes. However, fortunately, they didn't capitalise. We then regained our composure for the rest of the half, and with the exception of a poor pass back from Suter, it was relatively all us without doing much. But overall, Dave, it wasn't a great first half to watch.
No, like I said, pretty turgid. We came out the traps, like you said. I was saying to myself, this is what we want. We really put Hearts under the cosh, and we got our goal. And I thought, right, and I text you, didn't I? I text you, it's the same thing to say, let's go on and get a second as quickly as possible, keep the momentum up. And we just didn't get it, did we? It was really slow and really lethargic after that. Keeping well control of the ball, but doing absolutely nothing up front.
Yep. However, that goal did come on the 6th minute with Dessers scoring a lovely sweeping move, full of 1-2s, ending in Jeffrey down the left, cuts inside to Barami, who cuts it inside again, a dummy by Cherny where it hits off the inside of his leg, bit of fortune with the ball going to the right side of the box. Tavernier hits a shot that was going goal bound. I don't know if it actually went to Dessers and he hit a shot, or it just hit off Dessers into the back of the head, but it was a very Dessers goal nonetheless anyway. So when we've got a bit of cohesion in the team, and I said this in the post-match, when the team are playing well together, when there's a bit of cohesion, when they're a wee bit inventive, we score brilliant goals like that. And then we just have, for the rest of the game, some flashes of good play from individual players, but it's never as a full team. And that's, again, another problem with the team. But nonetheless, it was a good goal anyway.
Yeah, no, it was great build-up. I'll get off his back. I did think he sort of stuck his foot out slightly, but I think, as you say, it was going to be going in regardless. But Dessers sort of stealing the goal there, as you would expect a striker to do, be in the right place at the right time. So great start for us. Yep.
On the 12th minute, Dessers went down the right. He has a shot, but it was blocked. It spins back to him and tries another shot, but well wide. 30th minute, nice play from Cherny down the right. Beats a man, cuts inside, passes to Diamande on the edge of the box, who shoots, and it was dragged just wide on the deck. 32nd minute, a lovely long ball from our half to Cherny on the right. That was by Barron. Gets to the right side of the box, has a powerful shot, keeper saves, rebounds off the keeper, rebounds off the defender and out for the corner. 33rd minute, more pressure, winning the ball back in the Hearts half. Ball slid to Dessers on the left side of the box, cuts it inside, bobbles off the defender to Barami, who has a shot but was deflected wide. 35th minute, this is when the bad pass back, where the ball was played back to Suter down the left-hand side. Suter was in the box, tries a pass back to Butland, but it was far too short. I don't know if he even made much contact with it. Allows Shankland to come in. Butland had to make a last-ditch tackle in the box to clear the ball from his feet there. So one of these things, Dave, we've said it before, Souttar's always got a clanger in him every single game.
I know, and he was outstanding against Olympiacos, bar that one lapse in concentration, like I said, which led to their opening goal. And then that, I don't know what the hell he was thinking there. That was just a disaster of a pass back to the goalkeeper and almost cost us majorly, didn't it?
Yep. So that's how the first half ended out. Not great at all. Hearts had a good period of possession without really doing anything, but you just come to expect it from us just now. Into the second half, it nearly all came undone straight away because Hearts came out the traps flying, and on the 45th minute, the ball through their two centre-backs allowed Vargas to slip into the box with the ball. Butland appeared to hesitate, then he comes out, Vargas hits a shot, comes off the post and cleared, living dangerously straight away. I don't know what Butland was doing either there. You've got to either stick or twist. You can't just hesitate like that, and he nearly got undone by that there.
Yep, totally.
And I don't know if that spooked the players because we largely done nothing for the rest of the game. 59th minute, Jeffrey with a lovely touch on the left wing after a long ball played up to him, flashes the ball across goal but no takers. 68th minute, Barron and Tavernier off, Sterling and Casawaniro on. Boos for Barron coming off as well. I did say in the post-match it had maybe had something to do with saving him, and you know how the managers know about sports science, which it turned out to be the case just now. Not really the point when we're only 1-0 up and struggling. Plus as well, we've got 2 weeks off now, so why do we need to save legs like that?
As I say, it was just baffling and bizarre considering both him and Raskin were probably our two best players. To take that off in midfield, I actually think was going to give Hearts the advantage because the two of them had been playing well and had been stopping a lot of the attacks like they both did against Olympiacos. So it was just baffling to me. And was it that was the manager saying we're no scoring again here, so I'm just going to try and shore things up by bringing on two defenders for the players that were taking off? Like I said before, I can't second guess them anymore.
Nope. 72nd minute, Hearts down the right. They try to cross, deflects off the defender out to the edge of the box where the attacker has a shot, and it was fortunately wide of the post. From their point of view, that should have been on target, and that would have been a possible goal from that one there. 77th minute, Barami on the right passes to Czerny, who drives it forward, cuts it back to the edge of the box to Barami, who kept on running. A first-time effort and forces a good save from the keeper, which he spills, rebounds off the defender and back to the arms of the keeper. That's a couple of times that had happened, so why we weren't trying to pepper their go end with shots, because the keeper was spilling it. Gordon was spilling it quite a bit there. 70th minute, Dessers off, Danilo on. 85th minute, Czerny and Barami off, Dowell and McCausland on. 89th minute, a quick break from our box, ending in Danilo having a shot in the box which flicked up, and Dowell tried to volley it but he missed it and it was cleared. And really the only major thing that we done in the whole second half, on the 90th minute, Casawaniro with a volley off the bar after Danilo crossed it in from the right. Casawaniro volleys, Gordon got a hand to it and he made it hit off the bar, cleared off the line as well, so really unlucky that one there. But at least we were trying until the 90th minute, but the fact that that's the closest we came in the second half is a real poor reflection on the team. And as I said again in the post-match, it tells us nothing further about the team than what we don't already know. We got the 3 points. That's about all you can take out of it. We were poor. Simple as. We're playing at home. Hearts are second bottom of the table just now. They're not playing well at all. And you wouldn't have thought that was the case because we were so poor. Celtic can go out and absolutely demolish teams. Their Celtic went to Rugby Park, maybe a wee bit of fortune in a couple of the decisions there, but they got 2-0 winners where we got beat 1-0. You know, they can hammer Aberdeen 6-0 where we got beat 2-1 off them. We're struggling against every single team just now. See if we were coming out 1-0 winners and we had been peppering out the goal, the keeper was making save after save, we're putting them under a lot of pressure, then I could understand and I'd be fairly accept only a 1-0. But we're not doing that, Dave. We're struggling to break down teams. We're struggling to create chances. We've played 10 games and only scored 16 goals apparently in the league, and 6 of them came against one team, Ross County. It's not good enough in the slightest, Dave, and we're just not getting any better. As I said, we're seeing flashes of players. We're not seeing a cohesive unit, and a lot of that comes down to the manager, I'm afraid.
What's annoying is we seem to turn up in Europe. That really lifted my spirit at that point, Derek, because Raskin and Barron were excellent in midfield. There was nothing getting past them. Defensively, we looked solid and we were getting chances. But it just seems to be that they'll put a performance in Europe, and then they'll get back, and the performances domestically are just so flat. And you said it exactly like I was going to say. It's not as if we were playing a team that were full of confidence. Their Hearts are sitting bottom of the table, playing absolutely dreadful. Their star man, Shanklin, just isn't scoring goals at all. He ripped us apart with a couple of through balls, I'll say, right enough, in that game. But apart from that, doing nothing. So it's not as if we're playing top opposition. And we just can't seem to, the players just can't seem to lift each other up to be able to get something going. And it's just so flat and so lethargic. And like you, I just don't know what the answer is. I'm desperate for the manager just to change something, just to say, I know that we're not playing great, so I'm going to try something. We're at home. We're playing against Hearts, who are at the second bottom of the league, so this is the time to try something, at least try something different in the first half. If it doesn't work, I can go back to my original plan, but there's nothing like that whatsoever. And even the substitutions are baffling now, because if it's not exactly like for like, it is, we'll play it safe and try and hold on to the 1-0 when we really should be going out to beat teams early on. And we had the opportunity there to put the pressure on early in the game when we scored the first goal, and we just didn't do it. They just stopped playing and went back to what we're used to in the league. So it's just not good enough.
We've got a 2-week break now because of the international break, and it's weird, Dave, because normally when international breaks happen, you're like, I can't be bought with this, I can't wait to get back to the football, and I just don't have that same urge anymore, because we're needing these breaks, and that's what's really weird about it. We're needing these breaks, and it's not as if I've played a lot of football.
We're looking forward to the international break. But if I heard you say that, I tell you.
But so we're not playing until Saturday the 23rd of November. It's at home against Dundee United in the Premiership. That's a 3:00 kickoff. There's one thing, they're kind of doing well just now. Yeah, they've played a game more, but they're only 3 points behind us just now. So that's another crunch game. Then it's Thursday the 28th of November. That's away against Nice in the Europa League Game 5. That's an 8:00 kickoff. Sunday the 1st of December away against St Johnstone in the Premiership. That's a midday kickoff. And then Wednesday the 4th of December at home against Kilmarnock in the Premiership. That's a 19:45 kickoff. So given the fact that they just beat us, that'll be a very interesting game there.
Yeah. Yep.
But we've got 2 weeks now. The team need to get their act together. Clement needs to sort something in this team, understand that different formations exist, different ways of playing exist, different players can play in positions, not just the same tried and tested or tried and failed, as it were. We need to start doing something different.
Definitely. I'm trying to just be really basic, and I've said it before, and I'll reiterate it very quickly. We have, which seem to be, a lot of very good defensive players. On their day, very good. Balogun, Proper, Suter, Casawan-Yero, Sterling, Jeff Day, and now Ridvan coming back in, and James Tavernier. There is almost a full team of defenders, from right backs right the way through centre halves to left back. There you go. There. Why can't he just not say, right, here we go. In the next game, I'm going to put 3 at the back with 2 wingers, attacking fullbacks in there. Or I'm going to set up with 5 at the back when we're playing a more difficult match to see how it comes. Because we can't play any worse than what we have been, Derek. So it's actually the perfect opportunity for the manager to say, right, I realise that things aren't going, we're not playing well, so I'm prepared to change it. I actually think the fans would welcome it. And then he's got something to go back on to say, right, well, if we do get beat, it didn't work, I did try it, I'm going back to the way we were. It's like a win-win situation, I think, for everyone. So why not try it? We only play 1 striker. We play 2 wingers who, Cherny and Barami, and Barami's not even a winger. So why not? That's the perfect opportunity to change it. But he won't. He definitely won't. And that's the concerning thing for me.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's almost like he's playing Football Manager where he can't be bothered changing formation. I'll stick with the same team I've got, same for tactics, same formation, and I'll see what I get. That's because that's how I play Football Manager half the time, and I'm shite at it. So, yeah, that's the way it is. But we'll see what comes of it. So we'll now go into the news. Really not a great deal to talk about, only a couple of stories, Dave. The first one here is the AGM has been announced for the 5th of December at the Armadillo. No daft questions, please, from any of those attending. We have a number of avenues now to put ticketing questions to senior figures, to put trivial questions to them. This should be purely focused on the business side of it. And we don't often get a chance to grill board members, never mind all the board at the same time. So all we can say is keep your ticketing issues aside, because you've seen it in a number of years now. Daft questions at the AGM, Dave.
It's always about the same thing. It's always about, and you just know that a lot of people are going to be complaining about the move, where the Union Bears are sitting, and that they've had their ticket changed and stuff like that. I sympathise there. But as you say, this is a time for important questions about how the club is actually being run, what is going to be happening in the future, what the plans are. So, like what Derek said there, if you're listening, please just keep, I'm not happy that my season ticket's been moved and why that's happened. That's, something that you can speak to the club internally yourself, rather than bring it up at a vital time that supporters actually want to know what's happening with the running of the club.
Next thing here is Castore released a 125th anniversary Ibrox kit a couple of days ago. It's blue with a white collar and white sleeves, historic badge and all as well. It looks absolutely cracking, Dave. The only thing that spoils it is the fact that the sponsor's on it.
I know, absolutely love it. Wish it was our home kit this season. 100% takes it back to really traditional, back to when I was a boy, when we were playing it. It looks a bit like the old C.R. Smith Umbro kit. There's nothing, there's no designs or anything in the actual blue. It's completely plain. I absolutely love this top. I'm seriously thinking, I'm getting old now, Derek, and I'm at the stage now that I'm saying to myself, I'm far too old to buy a football top. But as soon as I seen it, I loved it. Like you, I'm not too happy with the sponsor, but I can live with that. And I just wish that it was the kit that the team were wearing all season, because I think it's cracking.
Yep. What was weird is in the promo shots that they had a yellow goalkeeper top as well, which apparently is not going to be on sale.
Why the hell have it in the shoot? Do you know what? It's ridiculous, and it was picked up on instantly. So when they're thinking that people wouldn't notice it, it was quite just ridiculous. Why have I realised Jack Butland is a handsome man, Derek? So maybe that's what they thought it was going to bring something to the photo shoot. I don't know, but just a silly idea, and no point in it being there at all. But there you go.
That's what we do, Dave. Daft things at daft times. The last piece of news here, so I told you it was a very short news segment, is that former Dundee United owner Stephen Thompson is filing for bankruptcy. So, couldn't have happened to a nicer man, could it have, Dave?
We've spoke about him in times gone by. Obviously, he's had many a pop at Rangers, going back to all the time that he publicly came out and said that he was terrified to come to Ibrox as the supporters and what would happen to him. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. So, not a man that we will fondly remember at all. So, I'll not get into his financial difficulties, but we all know where his loyalties lay. Especially against us when we were in our hour of need as well. Another one that put the boot in also to us when we were down. So these things are not forgotten, Derek, and they never will be.
Well, he did make a wee joke when he was getting asked about it, and he says he was looking to try and get back into football, and he says, well, I do hear that Rangers are looking for a CEO, so yeah, that'll be right.
I fair play to him for saying that.
So it's now time for Fessel Corner.
Yeah.
Just did a massive shit at work. Too big to flush on its own. Had to sneak into the staff kitchen and grab a butter knife, which was subsequently used to chop up the shit into flushable pieces. I I smothered the knife in hand sanitizer before popping it in the dishwasher.
That's absolutely mad. Oh, dearie dear. Oh.
My wife's work has a meeting called Quality Improvement Meeting. They refer to it as the QIM meeting. And this will never not be funny to either me or my wife. She tells me that sometimes they talk about a deep dive in the QIM. Oh, that's genius.
Oh, dear.
I once fell off my bike straight into an oncoming car. My pelvis was most certainly broken, yet because I hadn't shaved my pubes in months, they were like an untamed forest. I pretended I was fine, went home, shaved my pubes, which was agonising, then went to hospital. Things you do, Dave.
Oh my God. Brilliant.
Sometimes when waiting for a bus, I pretend to be a football manager in the dugout at a big match. If there's no traffic around, I'll often march into the bus lane as if it's the technical area to complain about a penalty given against my team.
This is brilliant.
A dad here, present for the birth of my 2 wonderful children. Everyone says it's an amazing experience. I felt violently sick from start to finish. The smell, the sight, the noise, and the massive turd that hit the floor. Never again. And the last one here, got talking to a woman online for months and grew very close. Arranged to meet up one day, had a brilliant day and then went back to hers. Absolutely horrific. Cat shit all over the floors, rotten food everywhere, could hardly breathe. Had to ghost her. After sex, obviously. And on that note, we will end the podcast. So, a very quick pod tonight because of obvious reasons. Not anything great to talk about, is there?
Was a very encouraging performance and a great result midweek, but domestically, it's still very, very poor and way, way short of what we're expecting from a team who have got players who are playing way below what they should be playing, and the manager, I think, getting his tactics just completely wrong. But they've still managed to get 2 victories and a valuable draw away from home. That's the only positives that we can take from it at this time.
I mean, we're coming away from 2, as you're saying there, 2 victories and a good away European draw, and we're coming away from this disappointed, and that tells it all. That tells you a story, Dave. Yes,
it certainly does. Like I said, I think the players are performing way below what they should be, way, way below what they should be, and the manager isn't helping that either. So when you've got the 2 of them together, it's going to get what we're watching, which is just lethargic, turgid, winning just and no more, which is not what we're wanting to see. But we can only hope and pray with this break coming up that we manage to get some players back. We need a left-sided attacker. So I don't know how long Matondo's got left. I don't know how long Cortez has got left, but we need these guys back fit so that we can move the likes of Barami into the centre where he's supposed to play and hopefully get the best out of him playing in his rightful position. But again, only time will tell, and we're just so unlucky when it comes to injuries as well, aren't we?
Yeah. So, Dave's now going off to enjoy his wee transatlantic trip.
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to be in the house as normal, Dave, so just think of me. So, all that's left to say is thanks for listening and goodbye.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go. Manchester,